Ladies, gentlemen, fellas, welcome into the live stream today for Sunday, day before Memorial Day. Memorial Day festivities are later today. Let's get Q&As in early. It's 10 a.m. on the East Coast right now. These games start at 2 today. Projections are out. Props are in. There's like 4 props that I really like. There's actually 5, but at least on Prize Picks, you can't use the same player twice. So Joe Harris's points went down from 12.5 back to 11.5, which is where he went and got them in like 6 minutes in game 2. I took those again, but then his fantasy points is 19.5, and I have him for like 26. So, I mean, the fantasy points are arguably better, but I can see Joe Harris putting up, 12, 13 real-life points, getting you the prop, and having no peripherals at all. So how you doing today? So I have the top 8 done. There's actually a lot of injury news today. I mean, Luka's questionable. I expect him to play. Anthony Davis already said, I'm going to play. Kemba Walker is questionable, expected to play, but there's guys like Ibaka who's missed. There's guys like KCP who are now questionable, came out of that last game. You saw Wesley Matthews play 18 minutes or so. Robert Williams is doubtful today, so Tristan Thompson, sure, going to get minutes, but, he's already been getting those minutes. It's now going to be interesting to see who fills in. I assume Jabari Parker. Maybe Grant Williams gets into the rotation. Some guards like Romeo Langford should see some run. We saw that the last time, kind of tipped their hand. Chris Paul, questionable, has not been playing, has not been closing games. The last game, he didn't close it at all. He got re-injured, or he was just aggravated a little bit, and campaign closed for the second straight game. Say campaign's name quick enough, it sounds like you're saying campaign. Campaign mode in World at War, Call of Duty. Best spot you're going to see. My man Blake in the chat says, not NBA related, will your Patreon account change to NFL-based subscriptions following a few years but looking to become a member this season? So the NFL-based subscriptions will start in August, yes. Basically, the NBA goes till July, so everything stays there. The golf season goes year-round. The MMA season goes year-round. The MLB season goes until October, right? So all those tools will still be in there depending on the all-sports package. If that's where you're in, that probably makes the most sense. Because there'll be a buffer period when the NBA ends depending on how long the finals last, mid to end of July. And then the second week of August is when the NFL preseason starts. So there'll be about 2 to 3 weeks of no NBA with no NFL. During that time, and really starting on tomorrow, in June 1st, tomorrow/June 1st, the day after that, I'll be creating NFL offseason content. So season-long content, right? I already have a video scheduled for that. Those will be dropping hopefully daily if we can stick to that moving forward. So that will kind of cover that time, the 2 to 3 weeks in between in terms of like what content I'll be producing. But I can't wait for the NBA preseason because the NBA preseason is just 3 weeks this year, not 5, sadly. It's normally like 4. They do the Hall of Fame game. But this year it's going to be even better because I was looking at the schedule and it's really spread out. Sometimes they have like 10-day games on a day. Now it's like 3, 4, 5. So it's like you're going to have preseason games like 5 days a week, which is crazy. So yeah, the NBA subscriptions will still stay there. If you want to roll over into an NFL one, you can definitely do that, but you'll be all good. So yeah, motherfucking live. What's going on, Evan? How you doing? Yeah, we're up early today. We're taking your questions, Q&A. This is not going to be like the top 8 video, although I do have the top 8. And we can just skip right to that top 8 right here in the double box. So this is the top 8 yeses on the day today. That being said, there's a lot of guys. It's a 4-game slate with some injury news and some value actually opening up now. So on this 4-game slate, I have a lot of guys in a player pool. I have 38 guys in a player pool for a 4-game slate. That's a good amount. I have 14 yeses. So what's good, Brody? What's going on, Austin? Yeah, first night got out last night on the town in Austin, Texas. It was a ton of fun. My girlfriend's brother, his girlfriend, a lot of fun, ton of fun, fantastic, awesome night. Great way to start Memorial Day weekend to an extent. Driving to work, my man Evan's working on the weekend like usual. Shout out Drake. Best value under $5,400 today. I would say that under $5,400, depending on how low you're going for, because you have the guys right at that price point today, and Joe Harris at $5,200. You have Alec Burks at $5,100, right? You just miss out on $5,500 Tim Hardaway, who would probably be my answer to that question, just because of the minutes he's playing. But again, you don't have enough. We don't get $55,100 to spend. I would say that your best value might actually be DeAndre Hunter, but you're clearly going to have $1,100 left on the table, so it might not be your best option. Henry Fisher says, I'm too tired to be up today. Oh boy. We got some people hopping in now. Appreciate everybody getting up. Everybody's up early. I'm on Central Time, so I figured 10 a.m. was early enough for people. Never seen the energy so low, Sal. A lot of IPAs last night. By the way, I always watch, just never commenting. Keep up the good work. My man Escobar took the weekend. Yeah, the energy is a little bit low. Well, I got people sleeping in my living room, which I'm probably already waking them up. So what are you going to do? We're already here. We might as well start the volume going upwards. But yeah, I was out till about 2 a.m. last night. Not IPAs, though. Just straight liquor. A couple of mixed drinks, just straight liquor, which never works well. Started with like some sort of mixed vodka shot, then 2 shots of tequila, then a mixed vodka shot, then a lemon drop, and there was like 2 mixed drinks. It was too much. It was too much to start the weekend. I don't know how I'm here right now, to be honest with you. Water is the key. Last night I think I drank like a gallon of water before going to bed, and I need food in me. But we got I got a bunch of tacos last night. The first time I had tacos in this place. The chicken tacos were god awful, but the brisket tacos were amazing. How are you up? Somebody says. I just don't sleep usually. Sleep is like the one thing that I actually do get sleep. Like people think I never sleep because of the amount of content I put out, mainly during the NFL season. Because now it's, it's a little bit lighter. We do this stream now, or we're usually in the afternoon, the one in the morning. But during the NFL season, yeah, it's a lot. But I usually sleep. I'll sleep. I just go to bed early. Like I'll sleep from 9:30 to 5:30, and I get more than enough sleep. But yeah. Days like this, you just got to get through it, right? Because I'm going to be leaving in a couple hours. I got some plans today, so I wanted to get this in. Morning, man. Who's a low-owned star that has the potential to go off today? Kevin Durant. Look, rinse and repeat with Kevin Durant. All the ownership on Kevin Durant, he started at $9,400 in the series. He's done nothing but increase his fantasy point production every single time, and sometimes in just 29 minutes of play. So in 3 games in this series, he's gone for 52, 54, and 60-plus fantasy points. And Kevin Durant is still going to be under-owned. I have Kevin Durant right now coming in at... likely, I think Kevin Durant will be the lowest owned stud today. The only guy who might rival that is going to be Julius Randle, but I do think that Randle's price point dipping to where it is right now at just $9,100 gets him a little bit more popular. So Kevin Durant was 2 days ago, rinse and repeat. I said Kevin Durant was my favorite play on the slate. It's really not even close. The fact that he would have been my favorite play arguably on the slate 1 and 2, right up there with Kawhi 2 days ago, and you factor in the ownership, and it's Kevin Durant. The same exact thing happens today. Now, I know Durant's price point has increased a measly $300 since the last time you played him. Like Durant at this point should be $10,400, $10,500. I do agree that he's getting there at the right price point. If you told me Kevin Durant was going to be 25% on today, I would probably say, okay, he's just a fine play now. But Kevin Durant's still coming in with 12 to 15% projected ownership is just ridiculous. Top 3 players today without price points. So these are my top 8 yeses right now. So Paul George, Kawhi, and DeAndre Ayton will be the top 3 for you, my man Henry. Good morning, fellas. Let's get them dollar rooskies today. Let's do it, Raul. How you doing? What's up, Sal? You think Randall can drop 23 points and Barrett can drop 16 points today? So I don't have either of those guys in my props right now. The Randall prop of 23, I'm not really on that one. If anything, I'd probably the 23.5, if that's out there, I'd lean the under, but the 23 is not enough for me to take it. And the RJ Barrett over 16 is not something I want. No. So I took these props earlier today on Prize Picks. So I took the Fournier over 28 fantasy points, which is the one I feel least secure about. I have him for like 33.5. He's just playing so many goddamn minutes. And now no Robert Williams, so more point per minute production to all of those guys who are on the court more. Jason Tatum over 7.5 rebounds. I like that a lot. The guy's going to play a minimum of 40 minutes in this game, assuming it doesn't blow out. Harden under 26.5 real-life points, not fantasy points. I like that as well. Harden's not getting as many shot attempts. Kyrie's taking more shot attempts. Joe Harris is taking shot attempts. Blake Griffin's playing more and actually closing out next to the basket a little bit more. And then obviously Durant's taking 20-plus shots a game right now. And then we're going right back to it. We're going right back to Joe Harris over 11.5 points. We didn't hit it at 12.5. He had 8 points in like the first half and didn't do anything in the second half. Brutal. But 2 days ago, it was 11.5. He absolutely crushed it. I love all the Joe Harris props today. Over 11.5 points, over 19.5 fantasy points. You just can't combine on Prize Picks the same player for 2 props, the correlation, sadly. But some sites actually let you, but a lot of sports books won't. But if you want to track these or tail any other ones, you can do so. You can do so over on Prize Picks. Use the code SAL, S-A-L, and they will give you a free money match up to $100 skis. I feel the most confident in the Tatum over 7.5 rebounds and Harden under 26.5. My man, what's going on, boss man? Good morning, Sal. Good morning. Randall, good value today at $9,100 on DraftKings. Randall ranks out for me as a yes, but he's not. He's fine. Yeah, Randall's my last yes. He's my 14th overall play today. He's fine today. He's not like an elite type of a play, but the fact that the price point's going down, the ownership is staying down as well, that's the definition of a buy low spot. When the price point goes down and everybody hops on it and there's value there, it's no longer a buy low spot for GPPs. For cash, sure, because you're getting the value. But yeah, Randall right now in the DFS streets at least, in daily fantasy sports, the DraftKings sites, all that, all of his props aren't going to be down because bookmakers know where to put him, but his price point is just dropping. I mean, if Julius Randle, comeback player of the year, arguably a top 5 MVP candidate, if not borderline top 4 this season, if he's going to go out there today and be, let's say $9,100 and just shoots decent, because they've been stuffing him at the basket. They've been double teaming, and they've been doing a very good job kind of crowding the basket where RJ Barrett finishes and obviously where most of Randle's production comes. They've been doing fantastic at that. DeAndre Hunter has given them a little bit of length at the 3. I just don't know how much that holds up for one of the worst defenses in the league, right? Had a 7 for 7 in price picks last night, Sal, says my man John. Hey, John, what'd you hit? That's awesome. Not, you don't have to tell me money-wise, but like what were the props? 4,500, he said. You're 24. That's why you're awake right now. Yeah, there was from the hours of about 9 to 1 a.m. There's 7 drinks put into this body. And, yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, getting up, taking a shower, drinking some water. Drank literally a gallon last night, but I need coffee. These people sleeping in the living room. I'm going to get it later. Hair of the dog might help. What is hair of the dog? Morning, man. Who's low in star? Kevin Durant. Okay. If I can find a value, I'm going to stack at least 2 of the Nets studs today. It's not a bad idea. You need the problem with that game is, so Robert Williams being out doesn't matter as much, but that's an offensive piece that keeps a game close when you need to keep a game close to an extent at times, right, to kind of stop some runs. But the problem with the Nets, like playing their players today, is like if the game stays close, they're all going to play fucking 40 minutes like last time, right? I have them all projected at 37 minutes today because I don't know, it's tough. I don't like to project blowouts, but I can't give them all, or I gave them all 38 minutes, which like playing them 40 is like their peak, I would say. So it's tough because Jason Tatum had to do everything in his goddamn power to keep that game close last game, and obviously they got the win, but everything he had to do. It's just tough to see him continue that for back-to-back games and the rest of the series. Good morning, Sally. Cash on B-ball and monkey knife fight. Nice job, my man. Nice job. Favorite value play, says Brian. Brian, how you doing this morning? Favorite value play today. So what do we want to classify as value? Like below $5,000? Probably DeAndre Hunter. Below $6,000 is probably Tim Hardaway Jr. at $5,500. But like just straight, let's see. So just straight values today, I'll take that back on the DeAndre Hunter. He is probably my favorite option to go to in single entry. Overall, the best value play today for me ranking out-wise is Maxi Kleber still at $4,100. I mean, Kleber just continues to play massive minutes, and Kleber just continues to just get you there. Right now, he's $4,100. He's not $3,000 like he was every other day, but 36, 34, 35 minutes the last 3 games for the playoffs. I have him at 34 minutes today. He's gotten at least 20 fantasy points in each of those games. All you really need from him today is 20 to get you there. I have him at 21.9 fantasy points. He's nowhere near secure, but he's actually taking shot attempts. He took 9 and 6, right, in the last couple of games. And you're going to need that because he doesn't fall into many other peripheral stats. Rebounds sometimes. He's a decent defender, but he's usually kind of stretching the floor, so it's not too much. Really not much he can do there. And when he's using a lot of his energy on defense against Kawhi, that's why he's on the court a lot more. Maxi Kleber is on Kawhi for long stretches of this game. That can start to become an issue. So Maxi Kleber, if we're looking below 5K, Maxi Kleber, Marcus Morris, Hunter, those are some names that stand out. If you really want to punt, I think the only like 3K punt on this slate that's worth a damn is probably Ivica Zubac and maybe Nicholas Claxton, some high-producing centers that you're hoping can touch 16 to 20 minutes of play, probably closer to 18 minutes of play for both of them today. Let's pull up this. So I was running some crunches earlier. I was putting some rules and groups in and things like that. I need to get more Kevin Durant, but I'm still over the field. Like Kevin Durant's probably going to be 12%, so I'm still over the field, but I need to get more. But for my single entry lineup, I'm playing 150s today. But for my single entry lineup, I believe that I'm going to go with Durant. But this is what I'm getting in 150s, which I don't hate any of this. I don't hate any of what I'm seeing right now. Obviously, I'm below the field. It's going to seem, well, let's see if I'm below the field or not. Yeah, I'm going to be below the field on Tatum, which is definitely scary. But when you have a slate that's got an underpriced Kawhi still, Kevin Durant, who I want to be over the field on still, it's a little bit better. So do you typically dabble in betting during the playoffs or just keep it with DFS? So from an NBA standpoint, yeah, I mean, I'll dabble. So when it comes to betting, like closing lines and things like that in the NBA, if I'm betting on it, it's just purely entertainment. Like I've been saying it all season long, especially now in the postseason when there's so much more action in their public games and the line is as tight as possible the second it drops. Like you don't beat NBA lines, right? You can beat long-term golf lines, right? People do because they're soft. You can beat, maybe if you get in early in the week, NFL lines. Maybe you can beat them short-term. Long-term, very few people can, right? But there's spots where you can get an advantage, props. So I've been taking on props a lot more this season in NBA, and it feels good, and in the postseason. So I primarily, when it comes from betting outside of DFS, right, if you want to categorize that as its own thing, I'm doing props, so player props. I think that's where your best odds are. If you want to do like series props and things like that, especially early on in a series, I think is pretty good. But taking player props just in general is going to give you some leverage, especially if you can project them. You might get limited to an extent. Prize Picks has yet to do that to me, and I don't think that they will. That's their whole model is player props, so they probably shouldn't do that. But Taking them at the beginning of series is even better. So I'm taking them right now, but I'm going to unload some clips at the beginning of the next series because it's a different matchup. If you feel like you can project what the pace environment's going to be, how matchups will go up against each other. Like these Nets, if they just blow out Boston the next 2 games, everybody's going to want to be taking overs on the Nets, and I get that. I'm going to be looking to take a lot of unders on scoring on the Nets against a Bucks team that sets up really nice against them. That's the reason they got Drew Holiday, because Eric Bledsoe was not a good defender. So now Drew Holiday will go up against Kyrie, and Middleton probably on maybe Harden, right? And then you have Giannis on Durant, however they set it up. Smart, 32 fantasy points on Prize Picks today. Yeah, that's going to be a no bet for me. I've got Smart at 33.15, so I think that's a proper projection over there. How do you feel about Bogdan today? I'm not there. I took my shot on Bogdan 2 days ago, and he shot like 2 of 13 from 3. The opportunities are there from Bogdan, but he's just not picking up any other peripheral stats. A lot of the overall usage is being just soaked up so much right now by Trae Young, like 40+%. Best value plays under 5K today. Yeah, Maxi Kleber, Marcus Morris, he's going to play 30+ minutes if the game stays close, I would assume. So we'll just say that for all of them. And then DeAndre Hunter looks like to be the best. Who wins, Atlanta or Knicks? Atlanta seems to dominate across the boards except many rebounds. I think that the Knicks are going to pull this one out, regain home field advantage, and bring this back to the Mecca 2-2. The Knicks are, I would say, in a very good spot. They played as poorly as you can play, not only from a defensive standpoint, but also just one shooting. And how bad 30% right now total is what RJ Barrett and Randall are shooting through 3 games. That's going to change. If they were playing Utah or somebody with a top defense, the Sixers, I would be like, okay, that makes sense. Like they're just shutting down a far superior defense, is stopping their players who, aren't the most superstar players, just having quality seasons. Derrick Rose, right? Randall, comeback player of the year. But it's not the case. It's Atlanta. It's Clint Capella down there. It's Gallinari, right? It's Trae Young. These are some of the worst defenders in the NBA. It's probably the worst defense in the NBA, one of the 2-3 worst defenses. So Atlanta, I don't think, is going to be able to do what they did in the first 3 games the entire series. I really don't. I don't think that Julius Randle is going to shoot 20% from the field this entire series. So Randle and Barrett have been non-factors in the series, and somehow the Nets have won a game, lost at the buzzer, and kept one game close up until the fourth quarter, right? What do you think of Rondo and Taj Gibson? Yeah, the Rondo effect is exactly what happened last time out. Let's pull up some minutes for these guys. So let's pull up the Clippers minutes here. But the Rondo effect is the same exact thing that happened last time out. I said, and it was actually surprising to see that the guy who lost run was Pat Beverly. I didn't see an injury or anything looking back at some game logs and watching the game as well. But the Rondo effect is really interesting because Rondo's going to play more minutes, and I only have him at 22 today. But it's hard to project Rondo's minutes because you have to try and project how the outcome of the game goes. And I just told you that it's almost impossible to beat closing lines and things like that, right? Money lines help a little bit more, obviously, than just straight closing line value in the betting markets. But Rondo, I have him at 22 minutes. He played more than that last game out. Reggie Jackson actually played more. So the guy who actually was on the short end of the stick was a guy who I think is still playing hobbled in Pat Beverly. So I guess they're saying, you know what, we'll have Reggie Jackson's offense still out there with this terrible defense, but in these games where we're actually ahead, let's put Rondo out there. He's right now healthier maybe than a Pat Beverly, and he gives us more on offense than a Pat Beverly, which I would agree with, at least from an assist percentage standpoint. So I think that Rondo, Taj Gibson is fine. He's just like a last guy into a player pool today. It's not something that I'm really dying to get to. Nerlens Noel seems to be okay to play 20 minutes, which really caps what Taj Gibson can do overall minutes-wise, and he's not the greatest of producers. But Rondo, I think, is appealing. The problem is that Rondo is so minutes-dependent or so game flow dependent, and he's expensive. So this is like in the NFL, if you play NFL, trying to play Rajon Rondo today is like trying to play a pass-catching running back, right? Or only a running back that doesn't get any passing work, right? And if the game goes sideways, you're fucked. And if the game doesn't go sideways, maybe you're okay, but the price point makes it a little bit restrictive. So it's a long way to say that Rondo is an intriguing player because he won't be owned, but it's really tough to get there because of the price. Thanks, man. No problem. Kyrie and Marcus Morris projection says Timeout Sports today. I've got Marcus Morris as one of the better value plays at 23.6 fantasy points today, and I've got Kyrie for 42.7. I think I'm above market on Kyrie today. He's in a player pool. He's not a priority for me. Durant would be more the priority from that team. Durant and Thompson or Kawhi and Drummond. Give me Durant and Thompson. Just got in here. Are PG and Kawhi still too cheap? Yes, PG and Kawhi are still too cheap. They're my top 2 plays on the day. They've remained every time they're on the slate. It seems like they're the top 2 plays for me. This is my top 8 on the day, and PG and Kawhi are number 1 and number 2 plays on the slate today. Haver Dog, you take one shot or you have one drink in the AM to fix the hangover. Oh no, fuck that, Evan. I am not doing that. I've seen some of my friends and other people do that, especially like when we go out on Fridays in college and like Saturday there was like a Penn State game, just like start rallying and tailgating early. I'm like the last person who wants to drink in the morning. I don't know if I've ever drank in the morning, but in the afternoon even, I just don't like day longing. Because it's fun for like an hour and a half and 2 hours, but then you get so tired all day. And I'm not somebody who naps. I just can't nap. I feel like worse when I wake up than when I actually nap. And then I'm just like tired all day. Then my night's ruined. And then I go to bed and then I'm like hungover the next morning. It's just like the worst. Langford got some minutes in the win last game. Any thoughts on him getting those minutes again? Yeah, I actually have. That's actually a good Zay. That's actually a good pivot to go to here with Boston. I'll pull up Boston's minutes because they have a doubtful today. I mean, Kemba might not play, but he's questionable. I expect him to play. They have a doubtful Robert Williams. They have no Jaylen Brown, of course. I gave Romeo Langford 24 minutes. The problem is he's Romeo Langford, and he's averaging 0.5 fantasy points per minute this year. So Romeo Langford right now, the benefits of Robert Williams being out will go minutes-wise to Romeo Langford, but if you're replacing Robert Williams 20 minutes with Romeo Langford 20 minutes, right, or so, right, Aaron Naismith should get a couple minutes as well. Well, now every other starter looks fantastic. Now like Jason Tatum already looked good, looks even better. Kemba looked good, looks even better. Marcus Smart, Evan Fournier look good, look even better because you're replacing a guy's 20 minutes of 1.2 fantasy point per minute production with Romeo Langford, who is literally like a third of what Robert Williams' production is. So, yeah, no interest in Romeo Langford. $3,300. I get it. He's very cheap, but he's going to get opportunities today. I also don't think that 24 minutes for him is secure. They can give Grant Williams 10 minutes out of nowhere, and now he's playing 16 minutes, Romeo Langford, and that's really bad. They can give Carson Edwards 5 minutes. I'm not giving those guys any minutes. You can see the minutes on the screen right now for me. Jabari Parker, I gave 14. And I gave Grant Williams 6. I have Romeo Langford for 12.79 fantasy points today. It's just tough to get there. With Robert Williams out, so yeah, Robert Williams doubtful today. I'm ruling him out right now. Who gets run, Parker or Cornette? I gave Parker more run. I gave Parker 14 minutes, and I gave Luke Cornette 4 minutes today. Had Valanciunas and Gobert second half. Oh, these are all the props that you hit on. Colin R says, yeah, anybody from the Sixers basically got you there, I assume. Danny Green, yeah, he had 5 threes in the first half. He was absolutely. I was watching that full game basically. Simmons had literally like 8 points to start the game. Yeah, they all went off. Gafford had a mean dunk. Somebody says, "LOL that shirt." Why are you laughing at my shirt? What you talking about, boy? You like it? I mean, this shirt is. The problem with this shirt is it shrunk so much. Like literally the only time I wear it is on camera. Literally for these videos. I don't wear this like out because it's like up to it, when I put it in I never put clothes in the dryer, but sometimes one gets thrown in there and it's like, well, there goes that. It shrunk just like, it's not like a tube top by any means, but I can't jump, I can't do anything in it. So I've been out of the loop for a minute. Is your NFL fantasy draft kit out yet? I got to get in again. Help me win last year. Yeah, my man Austin. What's up, boss man? Yeah, the draft kit is available for pre-order. I'll send you I'll put the link in the chat right now. It's not going to drop for another probably 2 weeks until mid-June. I am finishing up the wide receiver profiles probably tomorrow, not today, and then tight end profiles. Then the profiles will be done. The ranks are basically the preliminary ranks, I would say, are all done, and the tiers and all that. I'm going to hit them with another update like the day before we publish the draft guide. Then they'll be updated throughout. And then I have to add the key stats. But we're looking to be on time to release the 2021 NFL draft kit. I can actually show you what some of that stuff is going to start to look like in terms of the player profiles, but we're on pace to release that probably. I mean, once I just we already have a couple pre-orders. We got a bunch of people already pre-ordering it, but we're probably on pace to get that out. I would say within 2 weeks, like not by this Friday, but the next Friday, by June 17th, because then I go to Denver, so I'll probably celebrate that. But I'll show you kind of what an example of some of this is going to look like as it loads up. So these will be like the player profiles. You come in, you'll get recent production, you'll get the team changes, and that'll always be updated with free agency news, the draft stuff, the durability, the projected game environments in terms of like what the pace should be for a running back, and is that going to be beneficial, the backfield competition, the offensive line plays, the box behind me that you can't see, so we'll get rid of me. There you go. So those will be player profiles. I have 36 done right now for the running backs. We'll have, I think, 50 for the wide receivers. We might even continue to add more running backs. I have all the rookie profiles already done. So every single rookie that got drafted at tight end, running back, or wide receiver, and quarterbacks are in there, but the quarterbacks are kind of in the quarterback breakdowns are in the wide receiver profiles, just kind of discussing what the quarterback's situation is looking like. But yeah, every single rookie that got drafted is already done, the profiles for them. But yeah, it's available for pre-order. You get in. You can get it for basically a free add-on instead of the full price. You're welcome to pay full price. It's on the site right now, but let me get the link. It's a long way for me to say all that. How you feel about Luka and the Q tag? I think Luka plays. I think Luka will be fine. Same thing with Anthony Davis. Like, I think Luka, Kemba, all these guys, they're very similar to Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis was the one who actually came out and said, "Oh no, there's no way I'm missing this game." Like postseason, like if you're questionable at this point, and the only way I think you're missing is if you're not an absolute like just stud out there. There's the link to the draft guide. That'll give you like information on like exactly all the stuff that you may need to do. Good luck, Sal. We'll be in touch for that. I'm going to cop that draft kit for show. Hey, Elson. Yeah, we're going to have NFL content starting. I have one video in the chamber, so I don't know if I want to release it tomorrow on Memorial Day or June 1st on Tuesday. What do you guys think? Do you think like people, like Memorial Day, a lot of people have off from work, so I think, okay, maybe people will watch this if I release it in the morning. But then my second thought is a lot of people will be hungover. A lot of people will be just chilling out, relaxing, maxing out cool. Best centers for today's slate. Oh, my man Brian asking like 30 times, my man. You got to chill out, relax, and max and all cool. If you ask 30 times, the only thing it's going to make me do is not want to answer your question. But I'm not an asshole, so I will. The best centers for today's slate by far and away is DeAndre Ayton. He's playing 40 minutes right now. He's my number 3 overall play in the slate. He's playing just 40 minutes a game right now. I have him at 39 today. He's by far the best center option on the slate. After that, it's probably Clint Capella. There's not a lot of good centers after Ayton. It's like Clint Capella, but give me Ayton for $1,000 less. I literally have Ayton for 2 less fantasy points for $1,000 less. That looks best. But then it's Clint Capella, Zubac, and Claxton as punts. There's no other really good centers on this slate. You have power forward center options like Julius Randle, is Randle still power forward, right? Randle, yeah, and then Porzingis, power forward center options. What's up, Sal? What's going on, Vincent? How you doing? I'll be ordering that for sure, says John. Yeah, you can pre-order it right now if you want to. Every single one of the NFL videos that drop, it'll be down there. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'll release that content tomorrow, says Michael. All right, Michael. Well, I have so the NFL videos, I want to get more of them out, and we have to cover NBA still. We don't have to. I want to cover NBA still, right? It's in the heart of the fucking postseason. Most exciting time. I'm actually enjoying watching these games. There's some really good games today. Clippers, Dallas being the one that stands out the most. Unfortunately, Chris Paul's injury seems like it's going to make Phoenix not stand a chance in that series anymore. But yeah, I think there's a different way we're going to approach the NFL videos this year, and you'll see it tomorrow. Usually a lot of my videos last year were like 20 to 30 minutes. Tomorrow's video is like 13 minutes, and I think they'll get shorter from there. I think I'll try and do daily videos at like 6 to 8 to 10 minute range because that allows me to get more out. It's easier to edit, easier to upload. It cuts my workflow down by like a third to 25% on those. They'll still be just as good. Siri thought I was talking to Siri. They'll be just as good quality and information. They'll just be more concise. So as much fluff as we can take out of them. You like Trey today? He's in a player pool, but I'm not really all there on Trey Young, to be honest with you. I mean, Trey Young's been playing fine. The best first-round series player is, I would say, definitely Giannis. Like, people just forget because they already 4-0 swept them, and Giannis every single time out there was just going fucking off, especially in that last game. Triple-double, first one in the postseason for him. Like, Trey's been playing fine, but a lot of people think that shot that he had in Game 1 makes him just fantastic for the rest of the series. And in real life, sure, he's been playing great, right? He's shot 55% in the second game. He had 14 assists in that last game. Closed that one out, shot poorly, but closed that one out playing 37 minutes. But if you're talking about, like, what his price point is, the price point's increasing and the production is decreasing. In Game 1 in the Garden, he shot 11 of 23. Wasn't even really that efficient. Everything just kind of clicked together, right? Got to the free throw line a bunch, made all 9 free throw attempts. But since then, he scored 41 and 45 fantasy points. That's usually where Trey Young is going to reside. He's going to reside right around the 42 to 45 fantasy point range. And for me today, with all these other studs on the slate, underpriced, the Clippers guys, Kevin Durant, right, Jason Tatum, it's tough to get there. DeAndre Jordan, I don't have DeAndre Jordan projected for any minutes today. I'll pull back up Brooklyn's minutes onto the screen. No minutes projected today for DeAndre Jordan. He has not played in a very long time. Sorry, man. No problem, Brian. Don't worry about it. Thompson has been good so far in this series. So Thompson has been fine, yeah. With Robert Williams out, I don't really think it changes much for Thompson from a minute standpoint. Like, he played 25, 25, and 30. I have Tristan Thompson projected at 28 minutes of play today. The rebounds are the thing, right? Like, he's facing a team that is putting Blake Griffin at the 5. There's no more Jeff Green. They're putting Claxton. I almost said Clixton. Yikes. Pause. They're putting Claxton at the 5 for a good amount of run. Thompson at $5,200. So, like, the reason that you don't hear me talking about Thompson more, like, right now on this video is because, like, the only value pieces that people have asked me about are guys that are grading out for below full $5,000 when Thompson is now above $5,000, right? So, like, that's the main reason that you're probably not hearing me say more of Thompson's name. But Thompson is completely fine today. Thompson is in a player pool for me. He's not a yes for me today because he just plays a specific position. So it's Tristan Thompson at center today. I'd much rather DeAndre Ayton, right? And then it's like Thompson and Clint Capella as like your next options before starting to punt. before starting to punt is what I'm going to say. Also, the other thing with Thompson is that he's going to now pick up ownership. So you have Tristan Thompson picking up ownership. You have Tristan Thompson's price point rising, not significantly, $300. I just think that he's going to stop shooting 78% at some time really soon. But those rebounds are going to stick. Like Tristan Thompson playing 28 minutes against this Brooklyn team, he's going to just get 10 rebounds, especially in the postseason where Tristan Thompson sort of comes alive. So, yeah, Thompson looks fine for me today. What do I have him at? The initial projection. I could probably be higher on Thompson. I got him around like 25 points and change. If I was to bump him up a minute to 29 minutes, he's at like 26. And yeah, like if I gave Thompson 30 minutes to play today, he'd be at like 28 points and change. So if I gave him 29 and split the difference, he's at 26.5 points. I might stick with that. I like that a little bit better. Thoughts on Luka today? Yeah, Luka, I believe, is my highest projected player. Yeah, Luka's my highest projected player by 6.5 fantasy points. So usually whenever you hear me say something like that, especially on a 4-game slate, it's not even like it's a 2-game slate. Whenever somebody is the highest projected player in a slate by a decent amount, and their price point's going to compensate for that. But Luka Doncic looks fantastic today. Last time out, I said if there was a stud that I'm not going to probably get to, not because I don't want to get to him, just because it's hard to get to him, it would be Luka Doncic. And I think a lot of people think I'm crazy because Luka went off for 71 points. Sure, not having Luka definitely didn't help, but I substituted in, instead of playing Luka Doncic, I said I want to go to Kawhi and Kevin Durant. Well, Kawhi went for 57 fantasy points and Durant went for 62. So it wasn't that bad of a decision, right? Those guys still got me there. I didn't get Luka's 71. You probably could have played all three of them somehow and just punted with a bunch of scrubs that ended up getting there in garbage time or whatever it might have been. But I think the same analysis holds true today. Luka Doncic is going to continue to just shoot nonstop. He's going to continue to shoot inefficient from three-point land. People think Luka Doncic is a good three-point shooter because he's made a couple of really clutch game-winning shots, right? And that's just the nature of the beast, the clutch gene in him, right? He channels his inner self during those moments. He gets in his flow state, if you will. But he's a very bad three-point shooter. So this price point for Luka Doncic, it's the exact same analysis. Like, if playing Luka means that I can't play a combination of Durant, Tatum, Kawhi, and Paul George, like three of those guys together, or at least two of those guys together, I'm probably not going to end up with Luka in my single entry lineup. I did not have Luka in my single entry lineup last time out for DraftKings, and it was still a profitable day because Durant and Kawhi got there at cheap price points. Because I'm playing, like, just because Luka is $11,000 doesn't mean I'm not playing studs, right? Like, I have Durant at a guy who should be like a $10,200 player. Kawhi should be a $10,000 player right now. We're getting them at discounts. Let's take advantage of that. Can Harden repeat his performance from last game? I think he can. I'm not projecting him to. I like the under 26.5 real-life points from Harden today. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, but for the people who are just tuning in, these are the 4 props that I've taken so far in the prop markets. We took them on Prize Picks. If you want to check out Prize Picks, any money you put in up to your first $100, if you use the code SAL, there's a link in the description below. They'll double your money up to $100. So you just get smacked around with some free dollar rooskies right there. So you can check that out. It's linked down below. I took over 28 fantasy points. If your book, or if you're using Prize Picks, you'll have it. But if your book doesn't have fantasy points, then I have Tatum over 7.5 rebounds. That's probably my favorite prop. He's just going to play massive minutes and be all over the court. My second favorite prop is probably Harden under 26.5 real life points, and then Harris over 11.5 points. You can't combine 2 players' props together, unfortunately, on this book. But you can take players from the same team, which taking the under on Harden usually, at least maybe not directly correlates, but it's going to help Harris hit the over. If Harris is going over, odds are, like if Harris has another big game, 15, 20 real life points, odds are that's going to hurt, right? Directly hurt James Harden. So it gives me a little bit of a buffer. Randall or Leonard today? Leonard. Hey, Sal, favorite GPP studs? My favorite GPP stud today it's going to continue to be Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're like the obvious values. But Kevin Durant, just continue to back up the truck for Kevin Durant. I gave Durant 37.5 minutes of play today. You just give him 38. It's like just a very nuanced thing that I do. His price point is up $500 since the playoffs have started. But even at this price point at $9,900, all of his past performances get you there. In one of those games, he only played 29 minutes. So Durant is my favorite GPP play yet again for the second straight slate that he has been on, because he's going to be like 15% owned. Everybody's going to go to Tatum at the similar price point, and I understand why. He's coming off of the massive game where he did everything for his team. But similar price points, Tatum versus Durant, with the ownership taken into account. Like if these guys were both 10% owned today, I would probably just flip a coin or play both of them. But taking into account that Tatum will probably be 30% owned today and Durant will be 12 to 15% owned today, give me Kevin Durant. I have Kevin Durant for 52.5 fantasy points today, and I have, and this is the exact reason that you play GPPs and how you leverage them. You gather as much information as you want. Projections, tools, you get the Discord access, all that type of stuff is on Patreon, link down below. If you sign up today and tomorrow will be free for you if you stay on for June, right? I'll refund May. We'll give you basically 2 free days for anybody watching if you're signing up today. And if you stay on for June is the contingency. So This is why it pays to have information. I have Kevin Durant at 52.56 fantasy points today. I have Jason Tatum at 52.2. They're basically the exact same player today. They're basically the exact same price point. Tatum's past performance, and Durant's been playing great, but for whatever, Tatum gets all the ESPN hype. He gets all the pub. He's the only guy on his team right now with no Jaylen Brown performing. And Tatum's going to be twice as owned as Kevin Durant today. I just told you the same projection, the same price point. That is how you pivot easily, right? Sometimes it's not that easy. But in the postseason, when everybody looks like a great value, it is. My value today is Caruso and Cauley-Stein, pivot off of Claxton. All right. I've only got Cauley-Stein for 12 minutes, so I can't get there. I've got Caruso for 20. Caruso only looks better to me if KCP misses. That probably bumps up Caruso to like the 24 to 26 minute range. Yo, Sal, pick 2. Kawhi, KD, and Tatum. I'm going to go KD and Kawhi. KD and Kawhi. You living in the mid-range today again? Yeah, not really. I don't consider Kevin Durant the mid-range, but if you're asking me if I'm playing Luka Doncic today, I'm playing him in my 150s for sure. But the problem is I just know I'm not going to be able to get to Luka Doncic today when it comes to, I don't know if my light was on above me, when it comes to my single entry lineup. Harden or Luka today? Give me Luka. Any Nerlens Noel love? Yeah, Nerlens Noel, he played a lot more minutes than I think people expected in that last game because the first game back he was pretty hurt and banged up. I have Nerlens Noel today at 22 minutes of play. I don't have him in a player pool right now. Taj Gibson is just playing so well right now and matching up so nicely and like being the only guy who can get around for whatever reason these double teams that Atlanta is throwing down low, that I'm still giving Taj Gibson respectable minutes at 25. So I've kind of flipped the roles now of Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson. Nerlens Noel is going to be a great defensive player for them in this series, or moving forward in the postseason. It's just like, who does Nerlens Noel have to guard? Like, Clint Capella is a pretty one-dimensional player. He's a pretty traditional center. He's going to stay in the paint, and he's just going to maybe get to the free throw line a couple times. Like, Nerlens Noel being on the court, he's not shutting down Gallo, who stretches, DeAndre Hunter, who stretches. So Nerlens Noel has to come off the court a little bit more. His actual biggest skill on this team, defense, is just not needed as much in this series. How do you feel about D Rose today? I mean, D Rose just continues to be an absolute dynamite player. He got the start last time. He continues to play massive minutes. Derrick Rose today is my number 6 overall play. The only guards that I like better than him today are he's right. He's right up there. Like, I would say my top. So we can pull back up my top 8 plays, my top 8 yeses. You can see that Derrick Rose is right next to Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, but they're all like 1A, 1B, 1C options today. I would say that Derrick Rose is the highest ceiling. Derrick Rose is my favorite SuperDraft play out of those 3 guys as well. Yeah, Derrick Rose looks fantastic. Dennis Schroeder today, no, not for me. Any campaign love, or is he too expensive? I think he's now too expensive. He's in a player pool, but I think he's too expensive to really get a lot of it. Steve Nash should play DeAndre Jordan at some point. I don't know if he can. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know if he can. I mean, if they start to do this thing where Tristan Thompson can do whatever he wants out there, you can just kind of play 4-on-4 and you throw DeAndre Jordan and Tristan Thompson. Thompson will kind of bully DeAndre Jordan, though. Don't get it twisted. I mean, he's just got so much more youth and better knees than him at this point. But then you're just playing 4-on-4. So if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you might as well have an advantage out there. Anytime you put DeAndre Jordan on the court, you're at liability. It's the same thing with Montrezl Harrell for the Lakers. That's why he's not playing right now. Same exact thing. These guys have name value. They had really cool dunks. 5 years ago, they were good players. But in DeAndre Jordan's case, he's no longer that good defender. He is slow. He does not get up and down the court at all right now. He does not do much except stay in the paint, which this Brooklyn team does not want to do. They want to play fast. They want to score. They want to go 3-ball and right to the basket. James Harden right to the basket. Kyrie Joe Harris 3-ball, right? Durant, ISO game. You can't be having just a center standing flat-footed, really offering nothing at all. Like, they're not playing the offensive, like, this isn't 20 years ago bully ball, get the offensive rebounds and try to hit your mid-range jumper again, right? No. Like, they don't care about the offensive rebounds right now. They just care about getting as many shots up as they possibly can and playing with high pace, and DeAndre Jordan doesn't let them do that, sadly. Not much value. I'm going to roll the dice on Claxton. All right. So how do you feel about Alec Burks today? Think with D-Rose starting and Alf being thrown to the back of the bench. Any chance my man Burks can touch 30 minutes? I gave Burks 27 minutes. I like Burks. I like Burks today. Burks will be a lower owned option as well today. He's not a value because he's $5,100, so I wouldn't say he's like a cheap option today. But Burks is going to be somebody that I actually like a good amount today as sort of a pivot play. Like, he's not going to grade out well, and that's exactly why he won't have ownership, but he's one of these guys who, Alec Burks probably comes in with 12% ownership today. Alec Burks is a player that you know what you're getting. He's the Joe Harris, right? He's the Joe Harris. You're going to get stable shot attempts. Does he make his shots? Joe Harris makes his shots a little bit more often than Al Harris, and that's why Joe Harris is in a rotation more, right, in the NBA. Or I say Al Harris. Alec Burks. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Alec Burks is a lot less consistent. He had the big game one. Everybody saw it on national TV, and now that stays in our head. But there's something to that. He's a good offensive player. He's going to get the shot attempts. Does he get hot in the first half to continue getting them? Alfred Payton now fully out of rotation helps that. RJ Barrett being shut down and them not allowing him to drive and him doing nothing else for this team outside of playing some defense is getting him on the court less. So, yeah, I think Alec Burks is a fine play. Noel or Gibson? Noel maybe a little healthier. I'll take Gibson. I think he plays more. I really want to join Patreon, but I only play FanDuel, says William Lewis. We got a lot of guys and girls. Maybe not a lot. Maybe a lot's not the right way to say it. There's like 450 patrons right now. So I would say at least 10 to 15% play on both sites and use the projections for both sites. It's obviously not going to be the exact leverage or similarity over there, though, so I get it. But I do think the tools will help with FanDuel, but obviously I understand either way. Noel or Zubac? Give me Zubac if I had to pick one. Your prop bets today. Yeah, the prop bets, we went over Tyler. Tyler, if you're still watching, if you didn't see them, since you've commented, I think we went over them, but if not, just let me know. Can Rose keep it up? I think so. I mean, look, the thing with Derrick Rose is he's always been a point-per-minute producer. For whatever reason, last year, the Pistons were like not letting him play more than 24 minutes. They thought that he was injured. He was saying he wasn't. So, yeah, the Rose is getting expensive, but he's fine. He's playing 38, 39 minutes in the series. He's now starting and playing 39 minutes. He's expensive, yes, but he's going to shoot 20 times. He is probably the best player on this Knicks team from an offensive standpoint right now because Randall's just getting shut down. So you're going to get 20 shot attempts out of Derrick Rose today. The price point is coming up in a major way. I mean, he started the series out of $5,500, which was just a joke of a price point. But I think Rose is still a strong value. And the biggest reason why is he's always been a point-per-minute producer. That has never stopped. Derrick Rose has always been a point-per-minute producer. He's just now getting massive minutes. PG or 13 or Young? PG 13. What's good, my guy? Glad you still breathing, LOL. Get some soup and electrolytes. I do need electrolytes. I'm going to get a Pedialyte on the way when I leave today. Thoughts on Booker today? Booker, what is Booker's ownership actually going to come in at? Booker's somebody I never get to. He's just always appropriately priced. He's never aggressive enough in games for me to get to him. Yeah, Booker seems to be coming in with a decent amount of ownership. I probably won't go there. Derrick Rose or Ayton? Ayton if I had to pick one. Gotta love Fantasy Labs for that Noel nipple twist last slate with the minutes limit blurb. Yeah, his minutes were limited though, right? Like he's been playing 25, 26 minutes and only played 20 to 21. So I was already projecting it in. If you were on Patreon and you saw that. Kleber or Griffin for cheap options? Kleber. Thoughts on Campaign? I think he's a little bit too expensive now, but Campaign is closing games out. There's a real significant injury with Chris Paul right now. He has not closed. He did not close that last game out. Campaign has now closed back-to-back games. What's your top three over on Prize Picks, says Jay Trez. Yeah, these are the four that I placed on Prize Picks today. These are probably my favorite three. Tatum over 7.5 rebounds, Harden under 26.5 real points, and Joe Harris over 11.5 real points. I'm a Patreon member. I know you gave away projections for free one day this month, but it was only showdowns. Maybe give away the optimizer for free on non-showdown slates. It would kill. Optimizer is fire. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we can probably do the optimizer tomorrow. The problem with the optimizer is that right now the way that it's set up is that there's a passcode, so I have to like reset the passcode every time. But yeah, we can probably do that tomorrow because then I reset it at the beginning of any month anyways. Yeah, we have the big energy optimizer. We can actually look at some of those top projected lineups that it's chooching out right now. Let's see. So this is before I give. The only change since the start of this is I'm giving Tristan Thompson an extra minute, but these are the types of lineups that it is spitting out. So somebody was talking about Alec Burks. This one's going to punt with Emmanuel quickly. Probably set a rule against that. 3 guards from the Knicks is not something I want to do. This one has KCP, assuming that he starts. 3 guys from Dallas, especially Kleber and Finney-Smith. That's probably something that I don't want to do. Probably set a rule against that. So here's a lineup that looks pretty decent. So we like Kemba. We like Fournier. We like Durant, obviously. Jabari Parker would be your punt play, hoping that he picks up a run. We like Ayton. We like this lineup. So this lineup's fine. I have my max salary set at $49,900. But I do think that this lineup is completely fine. You're obviously punting with one player here. This is probably not something that you need to play in a single entry. This is the big energy optimizer. If you want to check it out, you can on Patreon down below. But this is obviously like not something you're going to play in like a cash lineup or small field single entry. This is more of a larger field GPP because you're playing Jabari Parker, who can just as easily play 8 minutes a day and do nothing. Reggie Jackson. Yeah, Reggie Jackson, it seems like the odd man out is Pat Beverly, at least for the last game. Reggie Jackson, who's a bad defender, got to stay in the court because they're playing a very good offensive team. So, yeah, Reggie Jackson's okay. Any Lakers love? Can we see their minutes? Yeah, let's pull up their minutes right now. Let's pull up the Lakers minutes right now. The short answer for if any Lakers love is not really. But here you go. I would rank the Lakers today in terms of my overall interest in them as LeBron, Anthony Davis, Schroeder, and KCP in that order. That probably doesn't shock anybody. They're just an appropriately priced team. Whenever you have LeBron and Anthony Davis on the same team, they're both probably never going to be $10,500 players when they're both healthy. They're both going to cut into each other's production. So this is what you get. You get LeBron having close to triple doubles, but dropping just 50 points, and that's not doing much for you when Kawhi and KD and Luka and Tatum and Booker are out there with a lot more usage and a lot less competition to their touches outside of KD, but he's just, probably the best player in the postseason right now. Why do you like Fournier so much today? Yeah, I mean, it's just Fournier is one of these guys similar to RJ Barrett, except Fournier is keeping his minutes, fills a weak position as well. He's just one of these guys that from the first 3 games of the series has either played good to fine, and he just hasn't had an above average game yet. And when he does, it's really going to pop off because his price point is too cheap. So the first game of the series, he played 39 minutes. He shot absolutely terribly. 30%, scored 26 fantasy points. Didn't kill you at that price point, right? Didn't win you anything probably, at least top prize. The next game is a blowout. He only plays 27 minutes. That doesn't really do much, right? And then he plays 37 minutes and scores 30 fantasy points, and that's fine for you. So now there's no Robert Williams. He's a point per minute producer. Seems to be playing right now 37 minutes when the game stays close. I've got Fournier at 37 minutes today, as close to a point per minute producer, and I've got him for a good amount of fantasy points. I got him for close to 35 fantasy points today. Like, Evan Fournier is one of the most mispriced players on this slate today. We'll pull up Boston's minutes. Boston's minutes are on the screen. He's one of the most mispriced players in the slate. There's a lot of mispriced players in the slate, right? You still have these Clippers guys massively mispriced for whatever reason. Paul George, Kawhi, right? But Evan Fournier quietly is one of the most mispriced players, and you can slot him into the small forward and shooting guard spot into the DFS sides of things. He's mispriced in the prop streets. I like him there. So, yeah. The minutes are there for Fournier. The matchup is fantastic for Fournier. He's getting shot attempts. It's just a matter of does his shot attempts fall. That last game they did, he played 37 minutes. He gets 30 fantasy points. Game 1, they didn't. Jackson's minutes are up, says DJ Crew. Yeah, they are. I mean, my thought process coming into the last game was anytime that the Clippers start to get a lead in the series or in a game like they did last time, that Jackson comes out, Rondo goes in, and they go more defensive with Pat Beverly and Rondo. It does make sense, though, that when you do that, you're losing a lot of offense. So I guess they're opting to take out, at least last game, Beverly, put in Rondo for Beverly, and keep in Reggie Jackson's offense and his bad defense, but try and cancel that out with a better, maybe healthier defender in Rondo right now than Pat Bev. Thoughts on Randall? Lower priced, lower owned. He's probably the second best leverage play. So there's a couple leverage plays in the slate. Durant continues to be a leverage play. Randall continues to be a leverage play. And these are guys who have an actual chance of hitting you some upside. And I do think that Alec Burks will be a really nice leverage play as well. Campaign or Joe Harris? Joe Harris. East Coast early mornings because Texas crack of dawns. You holding up? Yeah, I mean, right now it's like 9:45 over here. I got up around 6:30, 7 a.m. today. Went to bed around 2. So we're holding up. Somehow. I got like 5 lights on me. I had a ton of water last night. Had food before I went to bed. So, we're holding up. Right after this stream in about 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to go get some coffees and maybe find some breakfast. Is D-Rose a good pick for today? Yes, I believe so. PG-13 or Trae Young? PG-13 for me. If you're still here right now, take 2 seconds of your time, like and subscribe. NFL content will start tomorrow for my man whose birthday it was. We'll release that video tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if I'll have a video out tomorrow morning for the NBA, just depending on what happens tonight. I don't know if I'll be in the studio or not. I don't know if I'll be staying in the same place. What are your top 3 overs? Oh, yeah, we already went over those 3. What's your thoughts on RJ Barrett? He's pretty cheap. Yeah, he's pretty cheap. The problem is his minutes. It's very similar to Randall. Randall, I think, snaps out of it more than Barrett. Barrett's game is getting to the basket, and they're kind of stopping him from doing that. DeAndre Hunter has been a lovely addition for them, both defensively and just size-wise, to kind of match up with Barrett. But Barrett's going to stop shooting 30%. When he stops doing that, though, are the minutes going to come up? Because Rose's minutes are not dropping. Bullock's minutes, he has a specific role in this team. They're probably not dropping too much. So where do the minutes come from? The main way that Barrett's minutes go up outside of like foul trouble for somebody is Alec Burks' minutes dropping because Alfred Payton's like already out of the rotation now. So yeah, Barrett would be in that category of like the Evan Fournier type guy who hasn't really popped off yet, except he's not getting the minutes, and they would have to come from Alec Burks, and Alec Burks is actually giving them an offensive jolt right now. Sal, sell me on Fournier. Hopefully I did when I just had that little talk. I'm late to the show, bro. What's the top 5 plays of the day? Yeah, I mean, you're late. You got to get to class earlier, my man. But these are the, let's do this. These are the top 8 yeses on the day for me right now. Sal's Patreon is worth the money. I use it for FanDuel, DraftKings, SuperDraft, Prize Picks, and Monkey Knife. Damn, he's all over the place. Cashing on NBA, MLB, Golf, and even MMA. I know absolutely nothing about MMA. My man Tim Johnson. Yeah, Tim's been an OG, so shout out Tim. Yeah, if you guys want to sign up for Patreon, if you do sign up today, there's today and tomorrow's left in May, 31 days in May, I believe. Those days will be free if you stay on for June. So you can check those out. We'll have, the entire month of June, there's NBA, right? There's still golf every week. There's still MMA took a break this week, but then it's just like 2 months straight. So MMA, MLB projections. And then very, very soon, very, very soon, 2.5 months away from the NFL preseason, which is going to come quicker than you think. Like we're already in June. It was just fucking Easter, right? So that's going to come really quick. Top value plays today. So the top value plays today look below 5K at least. Look to be Kleber, Marcus Morris, DeAndre Hunter, those types of guys. Dorian Finney-Smith seeing massive minutes, so it makes him at least somewhat of a value. Those types of guys today. 3K guys, you're just punting with some centers that get good production like Zubac or who was really out of the rotation that last game for obvious reasons. He's just really a liability for them on the court, so that's a concern. And Claxton, those are your punts. Can we see the Clippers minutes? You indeed can see the Clippers minutes. Yes, you can. Let's pull up that double box on them motherfucking Clippers minutes. Jake A. Oaks says, thumbs up. What's up, Jake? How you doing, man? What's up with Zubac? Seems like he should be killing versus the Dallas front court. Zubac is Zubac that he's been his entire career. He's slow-footed. He doesn't get down the court fast enough. He cannot play at high-paced games, and he's a liability on defense. So when you have a team that goes out there and starts to run small, like they're not playing Powell and Willie Cauley-Stein a lot. They're playing Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Porzingis. That is a smaller team. Porzingis is going to dominate Zubac every single time on the. You're not going to see a lot of post-ups these days, but if Porzingis wanted to post-up Zubac, he would dominate him every single time. So this is what happens in the postseason. Regular season NBA, regular season betting and DFS and player props, all that for regular season NBA is, okay, just put the best offensive players on the court. Nobody really wants to play defense. The postseason, if you can't play defense, you're off the court. Montrezl Harrell, DeAndre Jordan, Avicii Zubac, Alfred Payton just stinks overall, but also on defense, right? Reggie Jackson is the surprise. That's why I've been saying, I'm surprised Reggie Jackson's still playing. But I get it. It seems like Pat Beverly is a little bit banged up and they need an offensive spark, or at least somewhat of an offensive third or fourth option behind Kawhi and Paul George. Thanks for the holiday/weekend content. It's probably the best in the biz. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, my man. Peace. Yeah, I didn't do anything yesterday. I was planning on doing a stream yesterday, but I got just a bunch of activities in the day and some other things to take care of. Figured I'd do a stream this morning. Got to head out, Sal. Great show as always. Have a goof. Oof, there we go. Thoughts on fading Derrick Rose tonight? It's fine. I mean, like, Evan Fournier is a cheaper alternative. Kemba Walker's a little bit more expensive as a pivot. Yeah, I think it's okay. I like him, but I think it's okay. What are you doing in Texas? I saw your Austin tweet. I live in Austin. Love the show. Welcome to Texas. Thanks. Have a great day today. Have a great day to you too. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Dang, Sal is up hungover, doing us a solid, and has 2 thumbs down on the video. I don't think I'm hungover yet. Hopefully I don't become hungover because I got to go to the lake all day today. I need a lot of water. I need a lot of coffee, and I need a lot of electrolytes. I'm going to go find all that. How much Kemba are you getting today? In 150s, I'm getting a very good amount of Kemba. Kemba looks to be somebody I'm going to be high above the field. Let me get you the exact amount. He's not on my single entry lineup, but in my 150s, I have 31% Kemba right now. In the big energy optimized air. Morris or Griffin? Morris. Schroeder or Payne? Schroeder. So I hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend, and I hate the blowouts in these playoffs. Yeah, I think today we should have some more competitive games. Marcus Smart looks good. Is Tatum a must-play for today? He's going to be the highest owned guy, so he's never a must-play. In cash, sure, but even then, not really. Alrighty, let's get some final questions in, and then we'll bounce. Final questions in, and then we'll bounce. You're the man. Have a great day. You as well. Thanks, Al. No problem, Tom. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll take any final questions as they come in. We did a solid 55 minutes or so. If you want to get into Prize Picks, right, a nice alternative way, especially if you're a New Yorker in New York State or New York City watching this right now. Prize Picks is now legal in your state. It's the only place that you can legally bet on sports right now that actually is up and running. So these are some of the Prize Picks that I took the over. If you use the code SAL, S-A-L, they allow this show to keep the lights on. So if you support them, you have some fun. We keep doing this thing. We keep rocking. Evan Fournier over 28 fantasy points. The ones that I like the most are Tatum over 7.5 rebounds, under on Harden 26.5 real life points, and over Harris 11.5 points. So those 4 are the ones that I like the most. I also like Joe Harris's over 19.5 fantasy points. Who gets more minutes today, Gasol or Caruso? Give me Caruso. Sal, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you as well for tuning in. Enjoy the day, Sal. Great work as always. Stay safe. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the love. Any love for Terrence Mann? No love for Terrence Mann today. I get that he's playing more minutes. I have Mann, or at least in the last game that he did, I have Mann for 14.3 fantasy points today. It's not enough for me to get there. Maxi Kleber or Gibson on DK GBP. Give me Maxi Kleber there, my man. Give me Maxi Kleber. Alrighty, final questions. Final roll call. Final minute. And then your boy is going to go get some food and water before I absolutely just throw up my entire body right now. You think Brunson gets run even with Luka banged up and playing? I think Brunson gets the same run. I got Brunson around 20 minutes of play today. That gives Brunson like a 17.5 point projection. He's not there for me right now. Shooting guard, $4,700 or under today. Let's pull up shooting guard specifically for $4,700 and under. Michael says center. The best centers on the slate today to me are by far and away DeAndre Ayton, number 1. And then after that, Tristan Thompson and Clint Capella. But Ayton is by far the best center player in the slate. Shooting guards, $4,700 and under today. My answer to you is good luck. I would not play a shooting guard under $4,700 today. I mean, these are your options. Jalen Brunson, KCP banged up, Caruso, Terrence Mann, Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford quickly. I don't want any of these guys. Most of these guys are playing like 12 or 15 minutes. If you put a gun to my head and said, no, Sal, pick one of these guys, I would say Reggie Jackson just because the minutes seem stable, $4,400. Good stuff. Thank you. No problem, Michael. Thanks. Appreciate it. Prize Picks definitely watching your live streams. Why? Did they change some stuff? Did things change? Who's a strong center you got today? DeAndre Ayton's the best center play today. Sham at 29%. I'm not going to hold Sham at 29%. No. Yeah, Landry Shamit's not going to hold at 29%. I have Shamit today at 15.25 fantasy points. So that's just like a pure $3,100 punt. That's not going to hold. You don't like Reggie Jackson today? Reggie Jackson is not in a player pool for me right now, no. They upping everybody that you're talking about. Well, they're upping everybody that I'm talking about, not because I'm talking about them, because I'm talking about them and other people are taking that prop. So anytime in the betting markets when people take one side of the line, like 10 people jump on this side, the other side of the line has to change to make it less appealing. So if over 11.5 points on Joe Harris gets bet all the way up, they're going to move that to 12 or 12.5 points because it makes it less appealing to take it, which drops it back down, which starts to make the market a little bit more efficient. So it's not because I'm saying they're not changing it the second I say it. They don't give a shit about what I say. I don't think, at least. They're changing it once other people go into the market. It's like a stock price. If you go into the stock price and a bunch of people buy it, it's not going to stay the same price. It's going to go up. Supply and demand. Top two payups, sorry, just joining, brother. So if you're not factoring, so top two payups today are going to be Paul George and Kawhi Leonard from the exact same team. But I do think that, and Jason Tatum is going to be great, but they're all going to be highly owned. Kevin Durant is the best leverage play yet again on the slate. Any Richardson at 35? No. Leonard or Harden? Leonard. Are we still playing Derrick Rose? He's my number 6 overall play. I like him. I bought my son a trampoline, but the ungrateful fuck sat in his wheelchair and cried the whole time. Oh my God, Alex coming in with some terrible jokes in the morning. Good luck to everybody today. Have a good rest of your holiday weekend. You as well. One last question, and thanks for all the work that you do, brother. Would you play Kevin Horder or Gibson today? Give me Gibson if I had to pick one. Alec Burks. I like Alec Burks, yes. He's going to be a leverage play. What's your take on Smart today? Just a solid option. I'd rather Evan Fournier, but a solid option. Going to play 38 minutes. Going to average 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Going to score you around 30, 32 fantasy points. All right, gang, we're going to bounce. Appreciate you being here. If you're just getting in or you're getting in a little bit later, this is an hour show that you can go back and just skim through it. It might take like 10 minutes to process, but you can watch it. We got a couple hours till the game start. What? It's 11 close on the east, so 3 hours, right? Smart or Fournier? Give me Fournier if I had to pick one. Peace out, everybody. I appreciate you all tuning in to the channel today. Like, subscribe before you go. Best of luck. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend and Memorial Day tomorrow if I don't see you. Peace out, gang. You all rock. I'm fucking tired now. I'm getting hungover. This bullshit. Just talk for an hour in front of these lights. Now we're getting hungover. Shit.